Our next sessions are called Shine the Light, obviously named after the eclipse. We've got a theme going here, haven't we? Yeah, hashtag Shine the Light. So this is the opportunity for 4 digital businesses to give you a short insight into the work that they're doing. Each speaker is going to introduce themselves, but I'll start off by welcoming to the stage Sam Foster from Edinburgh Napier University.
Hello, I'm Sam Forster. So I'm going to talk to you today about our project Did You Mac It, which you pronounce kind of like a question, did you mac it? And we worked on a project involving 3D printed, co-created experiential souvenirs. And it was a team of 3 of us, Constantia, who's a reader in tourism at Edinburgh Napier, myself, who I work in the School of Design, and we had a postdoctoral researcher, Lindsay Calder, who had just finished a job, or a previous post as a postdoctoral researcher at Heriot Watt, working with the most fantastic smart costumes. I was also the internal supervisor in our PhD, so we knew she was great, and we were really, really lucky to have her. Oh, oops. So this is the team here, and this is our background. Constantia, like I said, is looking at customisation and authenticity in tourism. I'm from a jewellery and silversmithing background, and my interest now is innovative craft and materials, and I teach design history at Napier. And Lindsay, like I said, works with textile design and smart costume and textiles, and that's an example of her work down at the bottom where she 3D printed onto thermochromic textiles that could change shape and change colour with electronics. So she was just absolutely brilliant. So this was an academic cross-disciplinary project between ourselves, and we were partnered with Historic Scotland, who gave us access to some of their files of the Stirling heads at Stirling Castle, and allowed us access to Stirling Castle to set up our project, and also data relating to their gift shop and their current souvenir provision. So what we actually set out to research was, could we utilise 3D printing technology towards a range of desirable, customisable and sustainable souvenirs? Sustainable in all sorts of senses, sustainable materials, maybe working with open access facilities so that you didn't have to have your souvenir printed where you were. You could maybe have it printed in another country, thus saving on air miles, etc. This was only a 6-month project, by the way, and it actually turned into a 3-month project because of all the different hurdles we had to jump through. So there was a lot of things we were trying to achieve. We wanted to see whether 3D printing technology provided a more authentic representation of a tourist experience than traditional souvenir provision. So we did a lot of sort of theoretical stuff about, the nature of souvenirs, the nature of authenticity within all that. And here you are, Laura. And we also wanted to look at, are 3D printed souvenirs acceptable to the public? What value would you place on them? So we had some questionnaires, we spoke to some people, we did sort of ethnographic observations in Stirling Castle about how people what they thought of our little souvenirs, and then actually what they thought of the 3D printing technology, how it affected how they felt about being there and being around it. We also looked at how does interaction with 3D printing and 3D printed objects affect the tourist experience? How did people think about their surroundings after they had interacted with this 3D printing technology? How did the object make them feel about their surroundings? So you can see there was a lot of questions we were asking in a very short period of time. So what we actually found out, it could do all of those things, theoretically. It was sustainable, it was really engaging, people did have value. But although the souvenirs were indeed desirable and were considered of value to the public, that was the positive outcome we got from it, the most engaging aspect of the project was their interaction, people's interaction with the 3D printing technology itself. And this kind of real-time, in-situ production of the souvenirs of their tourist experience, the way that they reacted to the technology was more impressive and more significant than the actual souvenirs themselves, we found, even though the souvenirs were lovely, and you're all going to get a sample after this today. So, what we have found out and what we hope to build on is how this research builds on existing events and practices and brings fresh perspectives to a lot of things that are in the mix just now that must be touching on various aspects of tourism, such as technology as tourism, how engaging technology can be, craft as tourism, seeing craft being done and that becoming part of your whole experience. The whole idea that these souvenirs were imbued with a sort of with storytelling, narrative, telling your own story of the attraction of the event through this customizable thing that you had. We're looking at experiential retail products, co-creation and customization, customer experience and building this brand image and loyalty through these objects and through the 3D printing technology, and of course looking at the sustainable aspects of this. So what we would like to do next, like I said, this is a 3-month project. We are academics, but we have big ideas about where this could go, all sorts of things. So we would really love to research the further the development of customizable, sustainable souvenir productions, maybe thinking more about these open access facilities, working more with your companies to see what souvenirs we could make for you. We want to look at want to research the relationship between 3D printed souvenirs and the engagement with the variety of tourist sites, collect more data about how people actually think about their surroundings through these objects and through this technology. I'm also looking at just now, this is one of my real pet projects, I love it. We are developing co-created 3D printing materials. Now, some of you will see that it's a filament, a plastic filament that goes into the back of the 3D printer. We're looking to create our own filament that could potentially be customised as well, maybe using things like chopped up bottles that people collect as part of their experience when they're tourists, mixing it with things like textile, powdered textile, colour changing pigments, so that the things that the souvenirs are made of are customisable and unique too. And we're also working at the moment with the Textiles Future Forum, who really like this idea, and Craft Scotland actually, to maybe creating a centre where people can experience not just this technology, but laser cutting, digital printing, all the really fantastic technologies that are involved in design and craft, being able to experience that, to interact with that, to customise that within, hopefully, a really a great venue within Edinburgh, the centre of expertise. So, like I said, we would like to try and test our concepts at different sites with different visual references, with different experiences, with some of the companies that are here. We can do pop-up, and you can see that we've got pop-up out there. We can do portable exhibitions and events. So if you'd like to see any more of that, in addition to the stuff we've got outside, you can look at our blog on WordPress, and you can also contact myself, Dina or Lindsay, who's not here today, and find out more about it. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name's John Campbell. I'm going to try and get on to the next slide if I can. I'm here to talk about tickets this morning, but I'll give you a bit of background about us very briefly, because I know we have hardly any time to talk. We're experts in travel, not tourism so far, but we're experts in travel. Some of the experience and some of the clients you can see on the screen there. Our biggest client's First Group. We also developed the London 2012 bus ticketing system during the Olympics. We do an awful lot of coach work as well as bus work as well. We also do an awful lot of location-based technology, online, a lot of app work as well these days. Tell Me Scotland's one of our biggest location-based projects for Scottish Government. It's all about public notices in an area near to you. It's using Google Maps API and also Ordnance Survey API as well at the same time. It was also the forerunner and the pilot for the Scottish Government for open data, their approach to open data about 2-3 years ago. E-tickets is our expertise. We run all the ticket systems for First Group across the UK. First Group are the second largest bus transport company in the UK. They used to be the largest, but they've had their problems with their rail franchises. But we run all of their bus ticketing sites and all their bus websites for them at the same time, and we work with them to develop the London 2012 bus ticketing system for the whole Olympic Games in that year. Very proud of the work we did in that as well. Our big project for them just now is the mobile bus app for them across the UK. It is now in the top 20 travel and transport apps in the UK. It's working on iOS and Android at the exact same time. We developed our own API for it. It's now got My Next Bus functionality built into it as well, and it's over 500,000 downloads across the UK as well. They run about 30 bus operators across the UK, not so much in Edinburgh, which you'll be familiar with, Lothian most of the time, but any other large metropolitan area across the UK. First Group are the largest, if not one of the two largest bus operators in that area. We dovetailed that with our timetable information, made it as real time as possible, and we run our timetabling system for them as well. Currently, they are getting over 4 million unique visitors a month. The mobile platform is now grown to 3 million from 0 in 18 months. So it's a large growth, fast growth, as Nick was talking about earlier on. Mobile is where it's going. What I'm going to talk to you about just now, I've got flat screens only as far as the presentation. I didn't want to try the high-risk approach of Wi-Fi while standing on a stage at the same time. So we've mocked this up in flats, but I've got a demo that I can gladly show you next door about our approach to M-tickets. M-tickets has evolved simply because we're doing timetables in My Next Bus and travel information, and we're now building journey planning on mobile platforms. So we thought, why don't we just get into M-tickets? Transport was what we're aiming for. Funnily enough, we didn't think about tourism until Anna Marie spoke to me about 2 months ago and said, why don't you come and present your M-tickets app to the tourism group here in Edinburgh? Pretty straightforward. It's developed for smartphones, iOS and Android only. No offence to Nokia and Microsoft just now, but we'll wait until you get your act together and then we might actually develop in that platform. It's very quick, multiple secure payment options as well. We can integrate with pretty much any payment gateway out there just now. We're currently working with WorldPay and PayPal, but also we've got experience of HSBC and Barclays paywalls as well at the same time. It's all about validation. It's pretty much worked and based on best practice just now, and it's based on our plus 500,000 downloads. So we know what we're doing in this. We've got about 3 years' experience of developing apps, and now we're just bolting on M-tickets to it. And just to say, we are Scottish developing. We are not white labelling and reselling somebody else's application from North America or anything like that, or the Middle East or the Far East. This is a Scottish business that's built this from our own API. Relatively straightforward. You download the app onto your device. We've done this in the ETAG colours for this morning. This can work location-based, it can work Scottish-wide, it can work UK-wide, it can be drilled down to only running for one operator in an area for their buses or their locations only. So it works on transport and on locations itself. We've set it up this morning to work, choose 2 locations. So you just go in and you say, buy a ticket, choose one of your 2 locations, Edinburgh Castle or National Galleries of Scotland. That can grow as much as you want. It's also got your own profile when you download it. You can log in, you can preload your credit and debit cards into the app as well at the same time. It's got T's and C's and everything else you want. It's got your own wallet. So if I was to choose one of those 2 locations, then it brings up all the tickets available for that at the exact same time. You can then choose and buy that, or you can have multiples of that ticket as well if you want to buy it for other members at the exact same time. You would then go through to your payment option. You can have multiple payment options. As I say, we've set it up for PayPal here, send payment, and then it brings to you, it tells you you're successful. On the right-hand side, it's got some sort of virtual or digital hologram that enables you to have a set amount of time to purchase that ticket, and then it runs out. It's all based on visual verification just now. It's following all the best practice as far as it's out there in the marketplace. And as far as that's concerned, enhancing options, time to market, it's very low cost rollout. We're looking at introducing this to the market as a percentage deal if you're looking at what are the costs involved in this. So we'll set it up as a self-service. We'll develop the system and you log in, upload your tickets, upload your paywall, and then take it from there yourselves. No more queues, never stuck without a change, usual usual benefits, free app to the customer as well at the same time, so we don't charge them, we build it, we take responsibility for that, and you just upload your tickets to it. Additional features, we can back-end plug it into My Next Bus, route maps, timetables and fare generators, and we're actually now building a journey planner for the whole of the UK for bus transport as well, which will bolt onto this. Thank you.
That was Kathy just saying, Gavin, you've got 5 minutes. The reason I say that is because I was speaking to my mum the other day. She said, your first words as a 3-year-old or 2-year-old, she said they took 10 minutes. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to manage this for 5 minutes, but we'll try, Kathy, I promise. Has she got a shepherd's crook? She could try and drag me off the stage. I've been invited to talk to you today about beacons. It's 5 minutes. Normally I would dance around the stage, but I'm going to stay here and I'll read it off here because I know it's 4 minutes 57, although I've probably gone up to that. A little bit more. Just before I start, if I could just ask everybody who's heard of beacon technology. Wow, that's fantastic. This time last year it was 5 people in the entire room. Who's using beacons in their work, actually using beacons? 1, 2, 3. Oh, Stuart. Well, Stuart was here last year, and out of the 5 people that put their hands up, me and him were 2 of them, and we're working together. So it just shows how quickly something can actually move on, which is pretty cool. However, I'm really keen. Oh, sorry, Kathy, I'll come back here. I'm really keen on new technology, and obviously we're always hearing about the next biggest bit of kit to come along, and I look around and I sort of like know that you've all been spoken to about over the last couple of years about the next fantastic bit of kit, and I'm surprised actually looking out that you're not all augmenting my reality with your fantastic specs on just now, but obviously that hasn't happened. Maybe next year, maybe not. My own feeling is that I like to look and see what might be possible now. I want to reach as many people and make whatever I deliver as accessible as it possibly can be for as many people as I possibly can reach now. So that's not looking into the future to try and do what Tom's doing there, which is manipulating things and augmenting reality and doing all these things. I want to make sure that everybody gets it. Now this might be a little bit of a jump, but that's me up until 2 years ago. I'm professionally a guide dog mobility instructor, not a technologist. You might be a bit surprised to hear that. But the reason I got involved with that was because, or got involved with technology, was because I was seeing the world that people with disability were living in had to be retrofitted in order for them to actually do the things that we take for granted. And in that way, I came up with technology that was going to help them. Now, one of the most amazing bits of kit we've got as far as accessibility is concerned is that bit of kit you have here. Now, has anybody got a disability, if I can ask? Anybody's using accessibility disability? I think there's probably 80% of the room have got an iPhone. Is anybody aware of accessibility functions within a phone? 3 or 4 people. You dig around in here. Come and see us later. One of my board members is a guide dog owner. He'll be here later to have a little chat. The accessibility features within this kit are fantastic. Samsung, Apple, even Windows getting involved in making sure their phones are accessible, and quite obviously that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that the kit we're using gets out there. So once we understand that this bit of kit can be the conduit to everybody getting information, what can we do? If we're going to use this bit of kit, we've got a couple of problems in Scotland for quite obvious reasons. We've got because it's electronic. I'm led to believe that these are fairly waterproof, but there are new waterproof phones coming out all the time. So possibly this isn't as big a problem as the next one, which is this. Does anybody recognize this as a problem? I'm guessing from a few titters there that this is an issue. So what we need to do is we need to try and unlock the potential of the phone whilst taking this into consideration. We've got no Wi-Fi in Edinburgh unless you go into Starbucks or when you're on the bus. Incidentally, I was on the bus the other day from the airport to my house in Leith, and the Wi-Fi ran out around about 3/4 of the way through the journey. I don't know if that's possible to change, but could I have it about 1 hour and 40? That'd be great. So what we decided to do was we decided to look at a piece of technology called the beacon, because we recognized that we didn't have access to Wi-Fi, we didn't have access to the internet, we were restricting our visitors, especially those from other countries, with data roaming charges. So ultimately what this did was something where they would take photographs and then maybe post them onto social media later when they had access to the Wi-Fi. And other than that, it would stay in their pocket. This is a beacon. As you can see there's a few bits of rain falling down past it. This is a tough beacon. However, this one I've got in my hand here is very similar to that one there. It's about that size. That's not life size, I hope you understand. This is life size here. That one there is actually about 2/3 of the size of this one. What does a beacon do, and why is this going to make a difference to technology? Well, the fact that nearly all of you have heard about them, there must be a reason. However, the fact that 3 or 4 of you only really are using it means that there's still a little bit to learn. So a beacon is a Bluetooth low-energy device, and it emits a constant signal that can be picked up by a mobile phone. We're using that signal to unlock information within the mobile phone and provide the user with an interactive guidebook on their phone. So there's no need for Wi-Fi. Well, that's pretty cool. That potentially is really cool. So we place our beacons around a venue, and the person downloads the app, and then they walk around the venue, and as they walk past one of the beacons, it unlocks somewhere in their app, which tells them about information that is very specific and pertinent to where they're standing. The other thing is that because it's outdoor, and it's battery-led itself, doesn't need a power supply, it can work for 365 days without any kind of hassle at all. So once we've got our beacon installed, what use is it? What use is it going to be to you? And why do I think this is going to be a massive game changer? And Nick already alluded to it. He went, beacons, wow, but there's only 5 people using them. Why is this going to be massive? Well, first of all, if we look at connectivity, and as already mentioned, to do with Wi-Fi and to do with GPS and data roaming charges, we can get rid of all of those. All you've done is download the app, and it just talks to the beacon. No need for a third party. So indoors, outdoors, underground, castles, you name it, up on St Kilda, wherever it might be, this is incredibly useful. I'm very keen actually to find a client who's got either an underground tourist attraction or a castle tourist attraction, because we really feel this could be fantastic. Placing that in a castle is a hell of a lot easier than placing massive big boards. And as I said before, people can access the information. Talking about information, this is a biggie. Market research traditionally is how people get information about their clients. So you'll employ somebody to do market research. I'm going to have to really speed up now. You'll get people come along to do market research for your actual business. Well, we don't need to do that. We can record the data, and the phone records the data as the person moves around. So if I stand in one place for 5 minutes, the next place for 10 minutes, the next place for 20 minutes, our app will know how long the person stood there. Obviously, if you find out you had a really busy day in the middle of the summer, and you check all of your data analytics that day, and one of your exhibits is not actually going to be engaging with people, they only stood there for 1 minute, you're going to change that. The following week, you can find out how many people stopped there. That's pretty cool. Next one is accessibility. This is our USP as a company. This is what we're all about. We want people, everybody, to access this. We're very aware of voice or sound being one of the most basic, storytelling being one of the most basic things that you can do. So a lot of our content is based around real quality storytelling. But if we can also add on to this British Sign Language, we can also add on to this different languages, we can also add on to this specifics about what that person might want at the very start of their visit. They might say, oh yeah, I'm really interested in, I would say it was at the National Air Museum, I'm really interested in engine sizes. Oh, we can put that in, and then they can find out more about that as they walk around. And, sorry, show you that. Okay, so I'm thinking some of you who are holding the purse strings are thinking, oh Jesus, this is going to cost us a fortune. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. They're really cost effective. That little beacon there is not the expensive part of this. The expensive part of this is content, getting your content together, getting your content put into the app, and the app doing exactly what you want it to do, and quite obviously that's the bit where the money comes in. The only other cost beyond that is moving around the beacons when you want to move them around, because they don't have to stay in one place, and also the maintenance after that. And we're maintaining them as an organisation every 6 months to a year, replacing batteries and just keeping them all tick-tocking along really nicely. Incidentally, if you're doing the battery changing, you can then check on exactly whether it's functioning really well. And last but not least, sorry, oops. Seamless. This does not need to be a QR code where you're interacting. This is something that is happening automatically. Flexibility. I'm just going to zip through these guys. There we go. And we're available in the foyer now. I'd be really keen to talk to anybody who's got an attraction or a business where they think, well, actually, we're not getting information out there. We've got no Wi-Fi. We've got none of these things. So thank you very much indeed, guys.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jeremy Kopp from EGO, and I'm going to violate 2 golden rules of presenting at conferences. Number 1, I'm going to do a live demo, and number 2, I'm coming between you and your coffee. So, I think what we have to show you is something that will change your business. Can we flip over to the iPad, guys? I told you. Let me carry on anyway and see if we can get the signal up. So you've all been outside earlier on and witnessed the eclipse, the partial eclipse, and you've noticed that the world around you is 3-dimensional, yeah? There were buildings that were obscuring the sky. So what we provide is a 3-dimensional mapping platform. We can enable you to deliver in your apps 3-dimensional views of the world, all the buildings, all of the terrain, all of the features that are recognizable to the user. So it's the most intuitive way for users to browse and consume information, content, and services that are around them by putting them on a map, on a 3-dimensional map. So this is really a new paradigm in this information delivery. It's the next generation of mapping, and it provides a fantastically engaging environment that puts the map right at the forefront of the user experience, front and center of that experience, maximizing the opportunity for them to discover that information and engage with your service. You're all in a hugely busy space for getting your message and branding out there, reaching your consumers. So the key for you is to be able to differentiate that service and deliver that differentiated experience to consumers so it drives stickiness and usage of your service, drives people to your attractions, gets your content and information out there. So what's different about our approach? Well, we give you complete control over the look and feel, the branding, the theming of this map environment. It's a fantastically engaging environment as it is, but you can make it your own. We give you flexibility as to how you deliver information on that map, how the imagery appears, the iconography that you use, and also control over the information and visualization of that within this environment. You can make all the information dynamic, update it in real time, perhaps provide even historical information, and then customize how that's represented in the map. Show your key landmarks so we can build out your site, your buildings. Maybe you have a theme park, a particular location. We can customize that within the map. You can work with your partners or affiliates to deliver their locations, to deliver their information within the mapping, and also provide a dynamic control of animations of objects within the map. We can help you deliver planes and trains and aircraft within the world, if you like. But the real world use there is one of visualizing that, the information about your event, your location, your attraction. So maybe you can help visualize queue lengths. Maybe you can help make the engagement more attractive. We've even got a customer that's delivering fireworks, believe it or not, within the application, within the map. So what we provide is a toolkit to enable you to build these fantastic applications, a canvas, if you like, for driving people to your attractions, to your information, and to engage your audience. And we actually find that users spend significantly longer and return to apps more frequently when they're using three-dimensional apps. They're no longer functional, they're about discovery, they're about engagement, they're about entertainment. And I'd really love to be able to show you it. There's a man running over here. Have we got a solution? So, again, we'll carry on. Is it working? Excellent. Hey! Yay! Is it time for coffee yet? So, this is the 3D map. This is wonderful Edinburgh with information that we're reading in real time and delivering on the map, so clickable points of interest that are categorized. We can model all of the landmarks in great detail. It's a great way of exploring the city, exploring what's around you and the attractions that are available. And I mentioned about making it look and feel your own. There's some kind of artificial stuff we do just to illustrate the great control we give you over that. So how about collapsing all the buildings and making it look like a planar map? Don't like that, we'll get rid of that. What about nighttime in Edinburgh? So there we are, all the lights come on, it's now nighttime. We can make it snow, perhaps. Let's go to daytime, but put some snow in there, some unseasonal snow. So it absolutely gives you complete control over how this looks. I don't like snow anymore, we'll clear that up, there we go. You know, we were mentioning earlier the example of Queen Elizabeth Park as a destination. Well, we can zap over there, and so we've modelled the park in great detail, all of the attractions within it. So here's a great way to orient your users, help them find their way around, and more importantly, deliver you an environment for those commerce opportunities. You can put your food stalls in here, your coffee shops, information about the attractions, bring the user to where they are. I'm going straight back to where we are. Oops. Sorry, let me get rid of that. If we go straight back to where we are, it knows exactly where we are, of course, because of GPS. We can use it to explore our environs. We can find out where we want to go, what we can see around us. We can use the 3D objects I mentioned to visualize real-time information. We've got traffic on the road. We've got trains running on the tracks. So it is the real world. But it's a real world that's under your control, and it's a real world that you can deliver across smartphones and tablets with exactly the same experience and create a fantastic, engaging environment. So I'm outside, right beside the food, I think, and the coffee. So please come by, have a play with the map. You can all download an example app. If you go to the app stores and search for an app called Recce, R-E-C-C-E, you'll be able to play with it yourself. We've also built a similar app for V&A Dundee to celebrate Scottish design heritage. So look for a Design Scotland app in the App Store, and that'll enable you to browse the exhibits that V&A have curated and associated with points in Scotland where they're related to. So there's lots of great examples of information there. And we extend from that through to the largest mobile network operator in Japan, Entity Docomo, who are providing this to millions and millions of their subscribers. And they're showing real-time Twitter feeds on it. They're showing routing information and information about the cities. So thank you very much for your time. I think this is a fantastic way to transform your business. Come and talk to me about it later. Thanks very much.